Why, hello. I'm doing a quick mic check real quick. Testing, testing. How's everybody doing? Get this chair out of the way. Really excited to get started. Today's going to be an onboarding webinar coming to you guys live from our headquarters here in San Francisco, California. We'll give folks a few more minutes to trickle in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to be covering all the basics of onboarding today. So. Cool. All right, where's everyone dialing in from? Let's see here. Get the music going. Turn this down just a little bit. It's currently 1 p.m. here in San Francisco. Nice and sunny outside. We're already middle of September. This is probably the 10th webinar we've done for the onboarding. Pretty exciting so far. Adelaide, wow, awesome. So that's morning time for you, pretty early morning, late or very, very late at night. Raleigh, North Carolina, very nice, very nice. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Whether or not you are a new user, returning user, or a veteran user of Julius, looking to just get the latest and greatest on what the team's been building and how to get the most out of Julius, today we're going to cover all of that. We'll cover what Julius is, how to actually get started, some tips and tricks for getting started, and then how to actually prompt Julius and work with Julius over time and get the most out of it, whether or not you guys are a subscriber or not too. As a thank you for joining, we'll follow up after today's webinar with a code that you guys can use. In case you guys aren't subscribed, we'll give you guys a week of Pro for free. We'll talk through all the different benefits that you get with that as well. But let's go ahead and just get started. I'm going to switch over to my demo screen here. Double check that my mic's working still. All right, I think we're good to go. This is the landing screen. This is the first page that you'll see whenever you go to Julius.ai. Julius is your AI data analyst. You know, any data that you have, whether it's a CSV, an Excel file, or it's inside of a data warehouse, Julius is able to analyze all of it, right? And it does all of this without you writing any code or SQL yourself, right? So you just tell it what you're looking to do, whether it's exploratory data analysis, certain types of visualizations, or you're not even sure, you just want to dive into some data, Julius can be your partner and do all of the groundwork for you. This is the landing page though. You can see some different use cases for Julius as well as some of the different connectors. But the easiest way to get started is just to sign up right here. And you could sign up using your Google, Apple email, or just your regular email address as well. Once you have that set up, just click on login, and I'm going to click with continue with Google, which I've set up already. And this is connected to my Gmail account. Very easy to get started. You don't need a subscription to start. You can just start out for free. And all of our free plans come with 15 free messages each month. This resets at the start of every month. And we'll talk through what a different message or what counts as a message going forward. This brings us to our UI after you log in. The first time you log in, you might see a slightly different screen. It has our onboarding flow. It has a guide on how to get started, as well as some survey questions just to understand a little bit more about how you're trying to use Julius. Once you complete those, this is the screen that you get brought to. And this is essentially our home screen or our chat page. This is what I call it. This is the easiest way for you to get started. You know, the simple workflow is to select a file. So here I'm going to press the plus button. I'm going to select, maybe I have a CSV of data. And right away, Julius is going to load it up and it's going to analyze it for you on our site. That's the easiest way for you to get started. You could do a whole bunch of different types of files, whether it's CSVs, Excel files, XLCS files, what else is there? PDFs, text files, you name it. Anything you want, you could upload it as well. And you could also upload multiple files at the same time. If you have maybe two files you want to connect together, or you have one CSV, one Excel file, you can combine all of those and Julius can handle it. Once we're done uploading the file here, you'll see Julius has given us a preview of that file itself and the different table and the columns and the different rows that make up this CSV file that I uploaded. On the upper part, you have some ways that we could dive into the data. Some questions like, what is the average final amount by loyalty tier? You have how do sales channels trend over time. All of these Julius got from just taking a really brief look at the data. On the right side, you'll see the different ways that Julius was able to clarify and just dive into the data. So you see the file, this contained detailed information about sales transactions, etc. So I haven't typed in anything yet. That's simply just from uploading a file, and then Julius will do some like high-level analysis on it, and then now we could dive into it ourselves. So here I'll say, let's look for any interesting trends or insights. I'm typing this on the bottom bar. Just like any other LLM tool that you might be familiar with, you simply chat with this data, the spreadsheet that I uploaded, and then here we have Julius. What Julius is going to do is it's going to write the Python code to fulfill the prompt that I just typed. So it's going to write Python to fulfill the prompt I just asked it for identifying trends or insights. And then it's going to run all of this code inside of our own dedicated environment. Every single Julius account comes with a dedicated environment called a sandbox. This is basically a place for Julius to run the code that it writes, to write, update code, and also to print out any of the visualizations and results that it gets too. You could think of a sandbox similar to like a computer, right? It's a virtual computer, has dedicated RAM and CPU for Julius to use. Every single account comes with a dedicated sandbox. All right, so we have a whole bunch of different things happening right now. So Julius initially, I'll scroll to the very, very top, started writing some Python code, started to print out some of the results. It's diving into the data. It's explaining a little bit about what it's doing. It's like, great, I could see we have a comprehensive sales data set. Let me explore some interesting trends and insights. Here it's continuing to write the code and execute it. And then you can see how it's thinking through like, oh, this reveals some interesting patterns in transaction values. This shows that product categories are distributed. And we even have one here at the bottom where Julius is just printing out some of the takeaways. So strong seasonality, channel mix, category balance, and then also basket. So some basket analysis as well. So just to recap, we added in a CSV. Julius did some initial insight gathering. I told Julius, hey, I want to find some deeper insights and trends. Julius wrote the code, executed the code, and then printed out the results here. Anytime you're working with Julius, you could also use some of the suggested prompts. These are ways that Julius thought was interesting as a next step for how you might want to analyze the data. And all you have to do is simply click one of these. So let's try out analyze sales performance by region. That'll essentially start a new prompt, and this repeats the cycle over again. Julius is going to think through, hey, what's the best way for me to fulfill this prompt? It's going to write out the Python code, and it's going to run it and execute it. You don't necessarily need to know how to write or read Python code. If Julius does run into any issues, it's going to be able to debug it itself. Again, Julius can do it all for you. And here we see it did the same exact thing. It wrote out the Python, and now it's starting to print out some of those tables, as well as some initial visualizations. And here we see sales by region here. Ooh, including the year-over-year change. This is a pretty cool one. Year-over-year revenue growth for all these different regions. So that's the basic flow for just interacting with Julius, right? You could be as high level as you want, similar to the work I just did, which is just, hey, what are some really interesting insights that you could find without being really specific? Or you could dive into some really specific niche use cases like this one. Like if I wanted really specific charts or really specific visualizations, I could specify that here, and Julius will write and execute it. Let's talk a little bit more about the UI and some of the other features that we've built in, right? A lot of people ask, like, what's the difference between Julius and ChatGPT? Why can't I just use ChatGPT to do this? Well, all these different features that we've built have been from us wanting to do data analytics top of mind, right? It's not something that, it's just one of our focuses. Data analysis is our primary focus here. So that's what our engineering team is always focusing on. You can see that in some of these tools that we've built out. So for example, if you go to the tools, the settings over here, we have different ways for you to customize these visualizations, right? Makes it easier for you to consume the insights and visualizations that you create. And sometimes you want your charts and themes formatted a specific way, whether it's a general broad theme, like a scientific theme if you're doing research related work, business theme if you're part of an enterprise organization, or even dark theme if you're a night owl like a lot of the team here. A lot of different features to help customize your charts and visualizations. And the other way is to actually create your own theme too. Not really possible in ChatGPT without just typing out the prompt yourself. This gives you the ability to set the distinct colors that we're using for all the different parts of your visualization, from the bars to the lines to even the fonts and the axis grid lines and everything down to the titles, for example, right? Found this very useful for a lot of enterprise teams that have specific branding guidelines, especially if they're making visualizations that are going to be used externally, but just not something that you get in ChatGPT. The other things that we've built out include custom instructions where you could be really specific about the type of analysis that you want Julius to do, as well as any other business use case or context that you want Julius to keep in mind as you're working with it. And then even expanding resources, right? ChatGPT has some limitations, whether it's the file size where you could only upload, I think, up to 500 megs or up to a certain amount of size. You can't go above I think it's like 1 or 2 gigabytes of file size. And then even the amount of computing, the sandboxes that we were talking about earlier, you could expand the resources here to give Julius more firepower, especially if you're working with hundreds of gigabytes of data or even terabytes of data too, if you're using a data connector. And then finally, another one that we have is learned instructions. This is a way for us to have Julius build context about your tables and the different files that you're adding, especially when it comes to using data connectors too. One of the features that lets Julius be more efficient over time and more accurate over time. And then finally, we'll talk through some of these other features down here, including advanced reasoning and extended memory. Let's do a really complex prompt. Let's say, let's add another file here. Let's try to upload. Let's just upload all of these files together. I'll show you how we can do this. And I'll say, let's join together all of those files and think through a way that we can optimize a marketing campaign based on customer demographics and previous customer behavior. This is what I would call a pretty complex prompt. You have a whole lot of different things going on here. We want to take multiple files together, join them together. We want to analyze customer demographics as well as customer behavior, and also probably customer sales over time. All of this stuff I would normally recommend, hey, let's just break it down into simple steps. But we actually have this feature called advanced reasoning, which lets Julius think through, hey, what's the best way for me to tackle this fairly complex prompt here? And I'll click on this and show you how it handles it. This is also another differentiator between us and ChatGPT. Julius can think through multiple different steps and can debug its different steps along the plan if something goes wrong. So here we have the plan that Julius created. It seems like it's a 7-step plan, and we'll watch it try to execute all of it. I would say normally, again, don't try to do super complex things. I think it just helps to break it down into simple steps. But if you do want to, what we call like one-shot it, like just write one single long paragraph of prompt, Julius can also handle it too. It just might have varying results. But let's see how it does. And while this is going, I'll talk through some other features. Extended memory, very similar to not similar to advanced reasoning, but you could think if you're using Julius across multiple days, weeks, or even multiple chats and multiple threads, you could turn on extended memory to give Julius all of that context over time. That way it could refer to whether it's like formulas that you have from previous conversations or specific files or visualizations that you've created, or even things like formulas that you have for calculating things like MRR or ARR or different business context or use case. It'll keep all of that with it as you're interacting with it. So it just helps to extend what we call the context window there. Well, so it looks like Julius was able to get through most of its plan. Here it's outlining, it looks like, some of the different ways, and we'll actually scroll up here. So it looks like, let's see, where did I start? I started here. I added all those files. It looks like this is the one that combined all of those files together. It wrote this Python code to execute it, and it generated some insights as well. So here we had, it's doing the joins here. And it says some recommendations for optimizing our marketing campaign. So you could see, oh, here's some customers with segments in terms of recency, high frequency, and high monetary. So maybe that's one way that we could optimize our campaigns. Another one is to win back dormant, high monetary customers. And scroll down, there's even ways that for us to do next steps here too. So build audience lists for high value, recent premium upsells, for example. And that's just one way that we were able to go from really complex prompt, joining multiple tables together, into creating an actual actionable plan. And that's sort of the feature of advanced reasoning. The other thing that separates us from other competitors as well is that you have the ability to use multiple models too. So if you were using just ChatGPT for your data analysis, you would only be able to use ChatGPT. It kind of makes sense, right? In this case, for Julius, we could use both OpenAI models like GPT-5 and GPT-5 Thinking, as well as Anthropic's models like Claude Sonnet and Claude 4 Opus too. The multi-models, and then you can also select what we have here, which is called the Julius default model. This is essentially a mix of both OpenAI and Anthropic, depending on your use case and what you're trying to do, right? Not sure about what type of model to use, just experiment out. We also have some videos in our YouTube channel where we walk through the differences between these different models and how they perform. Let's say we want to do one more. Let's say we want to share this analysis, right? We've done all of this work. Maybe I want to go back to my head of marketing and I want to say, hey, I've just done this really cool analysis using all of our data. I have some interesting ways that we could do optimize our campaigns, right? Instead of just sharing this link, which is one way that you could do it by clicking share, and you could share this actual chat in Julius. The other thing you could do is click on what we call the generate analysis report. What this does is it takes away all of the different prompts, so all the ways that I told Julius what I wanted to do. It took away the code that Julius had ran. And it also just redacts away all the things besides the key insights and visualizations that we just made into a report that we could essentially just share either in Slack or in email or just as a PDF that we can download. So we'll see that generated here. Found this button to be pretty handy. I think a lot of folks at the end of the day just want something that they can consume with Julius. Cool, so we have the report here, and you'll see it's pretty much just all markdown. This got a little bit of funkiness to it. We could edit that. And then the key insights here as well that we have there. And the one thing I did mention is you could just edit this. This is all markdown, so if you wanted to just update this, you could. I think something's just off with the formatting here. It looks like it tried to make it into a table. I think we could do something like this, and that'll actually reformat it all. And the cool thing again is you could just download and then you could save it too. So you could just save the whole entire thing as markdown. Actually, let me try to save it first. Let's see if this works. If I save it, then I download as PDF, keeps all the formatting as well there too. It's fairly handy. Awesome. That pretty much covers the very, very basics, right? Just how to get started, right? I would say if you guys are first starting out, again, keep your prompts very simple. We'll share with you guys the prompting guide. That's a way for you to get the most out of Julius, to take really complex analysis, or how to just basically work with Julius. What's that flow that we talked about earlier in this webinar? We'll share that with you after this call. But again, high level, simply upload your file, tell Julius what you're trying to do, break down the different types of analysis you want to do with Julius, whether it's a really high level analysis like what we did initially, or really specific types of charts or visualizations that you're looking to create. And then finally, work through and create the visualizations. If you want to optimize some of these, or if you want to edit these, you could also just type into Julius what you're trying to do too. So maybe let's say I only want a visualization to show, let's see, sales in Jacksonville, right? You could work with Julius to refine your visualizations. And again, you could use the chart themes that we talked about earlier to customize those visualizations to match whatever theme you're looking for. And then finally, when you want to share these results, you could either create an analysis report, or you could even just share this actual thread with anyone, and then they could access it in Julius itself too. That's essentially the flow to get started. The other things I could talk about, you could go over to the Data Explorer in the right side. This is a way for you to view all the different tables that Julius has either created, loaded, or updated itself. For any one of these tables here, you can click on expand and you could dive into the data just a little bit more to see, hey, what is Julius using to create these visualizations, right? So I can click on these guys here. And then for any of these visualizations that Julius makes, you could simply just download them and then use them wherever. Click and drag them into an email thread, Slack, Teams, or whatever you guys use as well. Cool. I'm actually going to open up the sidebar here. This is on the left side, and you can click on this expand menu button to keep this open. Several really good resources here for you guys when you're first getting started. First, your chats. These are all the different threads that you've created, whether as you keep on using Julius, all of your different chats and threads will be here. Notebooks, which is essentially another feature within Julius, which is like, the way I describe it is like chats plus one. It's like a lot more functionality and features behind a notebook, which we cover in our own webinars that we have every other week. So you can tune into that webinar next week, or you could look at some of the video recordings that we have where we make notebooks live. TLDR, it's a way for you to assemble multiple prompts together and essentially can do your analysis on autopilot for you. Really, really cool. We have your files here, which lets you look at all the files that you've either uploaded to Julius or that Julius has created with you. And then finally, data connectors, which is another feature that we've built out here and focused on over the last several months. Really easy way for you to simplify getting data into Julius, whether you have your CSVs and files in Google Drive or OneDrive or SharePoint, or if you guys are working on a marketing team and you use Google Ads or Meta Ads. All of these are different ways that you can grab data into Julius, do your analysis, all without needing to download the files directly from either Google Drive or OneDrive or Google Ads, or to write any queries, and you can just pull it directly into Julius itself. The other really cool thing about these connectors is that you can take the results from Julius and send them back. It's not just a one-way connection, right? Really, really handy for updating drives or updating your files as you're interacting with Julius and creating things with them too. Then finally, we have some other connectors here, a little bit more advanced, but if you guys do have data, if you or your organization has data in Snowflake, BigQuery, Postgres, any of these other data warehouses, we also give you guys the ability to connect there. You can grab data directly from those data warehouses, again, without writing any SQL. We'll write the SQL for you, pull the data into Julius, and do the analysis. Exactly the same workflow that we had just done, which is really, really cool. Finally, we have some other features here too. So we have teams. If you guys do create a team or you subscribe using a pro subscription, everyone by default will get 2 additional seats so you could collaborate with your team in real time. This gives you the ability to easily share files, notebooks, threads, and even collaborate in real time. And that means everyone can work on the same exact conversation, see the outputs in real time, and update and write and chat with Julius in real time too. With Teams, there's a whole bunch of other features that typically come with similar team products or Teams plans, including role-based access control, team servers, which allow for even more computing power for Julius, enforcing multi-factor authentication, a lot of features that a lot of organizations, universities, and enterprises frequently ask for. Other one that we have here are notebook templates, different use cases that folks have built out over time and have shared, whether they're on the Julius team or folks in the Julius community have built out some of these notebooks that are frequently ran by other folks too. And then finally, we have or I guess second to last, we have our community Slack, really great place for you to join and just get the latest and greatest of what we're building in real time. It's a really easy way for you to connect with our team here at Julius and also for folks around the world that are using Julius. Great resource for you guys there. And then finally, we have our documentation. Everything that you'll need to get started, including in-depth guides and documentation about all of the different features that the team have built out, are all here as well, including the Quick Start Guide, which has a lot of the things that we covered in today's webinar, as well as some other resources like data connectors, which we talked about, Teams, notebooks, and Data Explorer too. And then last but not least, if you guys have any other questions, if you guys have any feedback for the team, questions, run into some errors, the other ways that you could reach out to us outside of Slack are using our teams@julius.ai. That's our email address that you could reach out to. Or you can click on if I go to my chat window here, top 3 dots over in the upper right-hand corner, and you can click on help, and this will open up our intercom window, which you could use to either message us or create a ticket if you're running into a specific billing, product, or account issue as well. That pretty much concludes the webinar. I think I'll just follow up really quickly on other things for you guys to know. If you guys are a part of a university, we love to support academics, so you guys can reach out with your academic or faculty email address, and we'll give you guys a 50% discount. Just reach out to us either through our intercom window here, or you could just message us at team@julius.ai, and we'll give you guys a 50% off discount forever. I think it's forever. And then finally, if you guys are looking to subscribe, again, we are running our fall? Is it already fall? Our fall discount right now. So you could use the code, I think it's fall 2025, and you get 25% off your next 3 months on Pro. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, I'll be sending out a code for you guys to subscribe to Pro for free without any credit card information. It'll just be a code you could enter in your account settings page. You'll be able to enter in a code on this side, and it'll give you Pro for 7 days there too. Double check if there's anything else I didn't cover. Last but not least, we are excited to announce our merch store, merch.julius.ai. This is a collection of all the different merch that we've created over the last 6 months and even beyond. Feel free to check this out. We'll also send out some merch to folks who do subscribe today. I'll also send out a code for you guys to get free shipping if you guys are interested in any of our merch that we have here too. Awesome. That being said, I'm going to open up the chat window here and see if there's any questions that I missed. Drew's in call. Hey, Drew. Enterprise pricing, we can follow up directly afterwards. I think this does depend based off of, I guess, the enterprise features that you're looking for. If you're looking for really like a cloud-based, or if you're looking for a dedicated deployment, it's going to be different pricing than if you're just looking for RBAC or consolidated invoicing. So do reach out to us at team@julius.ai, and then Drew actually will get back to you there for specific pricing. Small business, 3 to 5 users. Okay, yeah, Drew can follow up. It's pretty straightforward, especially if you're not looking for the really advanced enterprise features, the more custom-built enterprise features too. Awesome. All right, I'm going to turn the music back on just a little bit here, and then we'll stay on for a few more minutes if there's any other questions. Let's see if we can turn this down just a little bit. Again, thank you guys so much for joining. Again, I'll follow up after the call with the things I promised. So the code to subscribe to try out Julius, and then also the prompting guide as well too. I'm at Kyushu University, so nice, exciting. We do work with a lot of universities. Again, we love to support academics. We recently wrapped up Harvard Business School ran a course with Julius last semester, so that was really exciting. And then we also have several universities all around the world, which is pretty interesting, that are incorporating more of their more AI into their curriculum, which isn't surprising. I think that's something that we're seeing across the board too. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really, really cool. It's always cool to hear the different ways that Julius is helping out, especially with like some really manual and tedious work too. I've heard from folks. Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, afternoon, night, morning, wherever you guys are calling in from. And we'll see you guys in the next webinar. again, we have webinars every week. We do twice a week. So we have one on Thursday, and then we also have one on Tuesdays like today. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.